Happy Friday. Welcome to Scoop Order. Big day today for the Buckeyes. We have a huge new breaking story. Another Michigan coach is leaving. All-time leading rusher is gone. Spring ball is officially over. These guys have their spring break coming up this week. So we're going to get into all that. As always, we appreciate you guys. If you guys enjoy this content, please click the like button. Also click subscribe. Also click the alert bell. Appreciate you guys as always. And if you guys are watching this with your family or with whoever you're watching it with, shout that out in the comments. Nevada, Mike Hart is gone. So I got the belt out. I got the glasses out. Another victory for us. The all-time leading rusher in the history of Michigan football. A guy who I hate as much as anybody in the history of Michigan football is now gone from the program. What is your initial reaction to that?
Well, it's just kind of crazy. I mean, I think, look, any one of these losses, movements, departures from the Michigan football team would be viewed as kind of a bad thing for Michigan. But when you look at them in total, and I want to make sure that I'm not missing anybody. But it's like the head coach, the tight end coach, the defensive coordinator, the defensive backs coach, the running backs coach. I mean, like how many guys, the strength and conditioning coach. I mean, they've lost so many coaches. I mean, it's kind of unprecedented, really, in terms of a staff turnover on a national championship, defending national championship team. Just absolutely, unbelievable. It's another blow for Michigan, and it's hard not to kind of draw a conclusion and a connection to what we've been talking about here for the last, it's been, I say weeks, but it's been months between the combination of letter of allegation number 1 for Michigan, pending letter of allegation number 2 for Michigan, and 3, a very damning report for all of, I won't say it'll be Michigan football centric, but it's going to be Michigan athletic centric, detailing just how corrupt the Michigan athletic program is from top to bottom. And, like I said, Mike Hart leaving is just another symbol to me of the rats deserting the sinking ship before everything kind of goes down. Hart was, the true Michigan guy, the guy that used to ride the stationary bike religiously on the sideline, the 4-year guy, and now he's gone too. And like I said, I just don't know where. Every time I think that this story can't sink any deeper or get any worse, Michigan manages to up itself. So on a Friday, yeah, definitely another huge blow for Michigan football. Another great day to be a Buckeye, and just remind ourselves just how great we have it at Ohio State football. And Michigan has enjoyed the shortest honeymoon for any national champion in any sport that I can ever remember. Their honeymoon period lasted about maybe 48 hours, maybe a little bit less than that, and then everybody's gone. And so yeah, no, just another big blow for Michigan. And spoiler alert: next week's going to get worse, guys. It's not going to get better. Next week's going to get worse. So watch out for that one.
The thing that was stunning to me is that the fact that Jim Harbaugh did not take Mike Hart. Mike Hart, all-time leading rusher, Michigan legend, captain. Again, a guy that I faced off across from at the coin toss in 07. He was a senior. I was a senior. And, he had a lot of success, did a really good job. But, when Jim Harbaugh takes basically like 9 of the coaches and doesn't take you, it set up a big red flag. I was like, and then Mike Hart took like a leave of absence about 3-4 weeks ago. And again, I don't like to make light of mental health or, whatever, but people claim it's a mental health absence. But I was like, they're probably having to look for a job. And Sharon Moore, who was the offensive line coach and / offensive coordinator, doesn't think highly enough of him to retain him, which seems insane to me. Because again, like, if you're the running back coach at Michigan, you're probably making $500,000 a year, and he's a legend. And coaching running backs is probably the easiest position in all of football outside of tight ends. So you don't have to be Copernicus to coach running backs at Michigan. And Sharon Moore did not think enough of him to retain him, which again, that is eye-opening. And again, I don't know if it's because there's off-the-field stuff. I don't know. But like, a running back coach is not like a line coach, a receiver coach, a D-line coach, a secondary coach. Like running backs, you coach one guy on the field. And when you're an alumni, again, like the bar is so impossibly high when you're an All-American, a guy the leading rusher in the history of the school, you're Mr. Michigan. For Sharon Moore to not retain you, it's a gigantic red flag. And again, he took a leave of absence within the last 3 weeks. And again, I don't like to dance on somebody's grave. I don't like to make light of somebody who is, well, he took a mental health leave or whatever. But like when I saw that, again, I don't like to conjecture. I make no additional I get no extra I get no extra benefit from piling on somebody who might have a mental health leave. But when that happened with the timing of it, I was thinking they're probably telling him to go for a job while he's still an employed coach of the University of Michigan. So because again, you have to understand when you're a football coach in college football, if say Kirk Barton is the offensive line coach at Ohio State, it's a lot easier for me to go find a job at Akron or Toledo or Western Michigan or Florida Atlantic or whatever. When my shirt still says Ohio State, it still says Kirk Barton is employed by Ohio State University as the line coach. For Mike Hart, I think when they had him take that leave, they're like, well, you're still the running backs coach at the University of Michigan. So if you go somewhere else, maybe you can get your running back / running game coordinator at, a smaller school, like a MAC school or something that's a little bit lesser, a smaller Big Ten school. But he didn't do that. And he is not being retained by Sharon Moore, which again is somewhat shocking to me because I think when you're the only guy, I mean, the only two guys that were left over after Harbaugh took off was Sharon Moore, who got promoted to head coach and got $20 million, which is that's why you stay behind. So somebody has to take the atom bomb to the teeth, and Sharon Moore's taking that. And then Mike Hart. So Mike Hart did not go to the LA Chargers like everybody else did, and so I assumed that he would be kind of part of the new regime. But for Sharon Moore to not retain him is absolutely crazy. And it honestly speaks way more to Mike Hart than it does Sharon. Because when you're Sharon, you don't want to upset the apple cart. You don't want to upset the alumni. Again, Mike Hart was from an era of Lloyd Carr, Chad Henne, Jake Long. Really good Michigan football. Like 05, 06, 07, 06, there were two in the country when they played against us. And that's really good Michigan football. So you don't want to upset that apple cart. But there has to be something wrong with Mike Hart that's like, you know what? I'm going to flip this apple cart over and just deal with it. And that's what Sharon did. Nevada, like, your thoughts on that? Because, like, if Eddie George, say that, like, Nevadabuck became the new head coach at the Ohio State University, and, like, Eddie George was the running backs coach, and you're just like, you know what, Eddie? You're great. You're a nice person, but I'm going to bring in my own guy to coach the running backs. Like, that's kind of what it's like when Sharon Moore dismisses Mike Hart. That's what happened today. What's your thought on that? Because, again, that is something that I think it'll impact the relationships with former players. And again, maybe Sean doesn't care, but there's got to be some sort of like an agitator there that makes you decide to get rid of somebody who is cherished and has had such a career like Mike Hart had.
Well, I mean, again, we're kind of making some assumptions. We're kind of making some assumptions that it was Sharon Moore that did it that way instead of Mike Hart bailing and not wanting to be in the dumpster fire. And we don't know, and that's why all the stuff about is it mental health, is it that, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But here's what I do know: just about every Michigan coach is left since the national. There are very few coaches left at Michigan, and for Michigan fans, they can explain away all that. Well, this guy left because of this reason, and this guy left because of that reason, and this guy left because it was an opportunity, and this guy left because his dad left, and just go down the list. But at the end of the day, you're talking about historic staff turnover, and for a defending national champion to have their entire staff just completely gutted. I mean, you're in a situation right now where Michigan is going to lose their athletic director, their head football coach, and their head basketball coach all within like a few months of each other. And like as a Michigan fan, you just got to be sitting going, what in the world is going on here? Yeah, using the Eddie George analogy, yeah, if Eddie George got run on, this is like, if Eddie George got run on top of, Jim Tressel being there and leaving to go coach the Colts, and then Mike Vrabel left, and then James Ornez left, and then Luke Fickell. I mean, like everything at the same time, everybody bails out and leaves, one guy, holding the bag. And that's what Sharon Moore is. Sharon Moore is the guy that's holding the bag. He's gonna get paid really well to stand in there and take the body blows and take everything that's coming. We all know that. But man, this Mike Hart thing just another jolt to Michigan football heading into spring, and just a program in absolute disarray right now. You use examples like analogies like circling the drain. That's literally what's going on right now. They are literally circling the drain in real time. No school can even the biggest thing you want is stability, and it's hard in any type of business, any type of business organization, any relationship, whatever. You want stability. And what's happening in Michigan now this offseason has been like the most unstable type of possible situation. And when you combine that with just massive talent exodus out of the program at the same time and subpar recruiting, like it's over, guys. I mean, it's over for Michigan football just as soon as it started, and they're going to go back to 2000, circa 2000 or excuse me 2020 Michigan football, and like I said, I can't wait, and that's why you want easy money. Remember when I gave you easy money? I'm like, bet Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers at plus 350. You could get 3.5 to 1, and Nevadabuck is telling you he's going to the Chargers. Nevadabuck knows he is going to be the next head coach of the Chargers. Go bet him. I'm telling you, take Michigan on the under on wins this year because they are not going to be a good football team this year, and you can bet that. You can make a lot of money doing that, and that's my gift to the board today is bet Michigan on the season total under total wins.
Yeah, I mean, the only safer bet in the world is bet Nevada on the 100 play. He'll buy breakfast if it hits 3 aces. So that's the only thing that's safer. But I'm saying I've been there and 3 aces hit. It's like, I want eggs Benedict with extra eggs and extra Benedict. And he's like, okay, Kirk, you get the extra eggs and extra Benedict. But it's like, again, to dismiss a running backs coach. Because again, when you're Sharon Moore and you're trying to, the program is at an all-time high, 15-0, national champions. Like, you want some sense of normalcy. You want some sense of this is what we've been, this is what we've done. People that know what's going on. Again, that's something that Urban was excellent. Again, I always go back to Urban, but it's like, he brought in Zach Smith and Stan Drayton, Mickey Marotti, Mark Pantoni, Voltolini, these guys that knew what was going on, and they could reproduce it at Ohio State the same way they did at Florida. Now, when you're at Michigan and you're Sharon Moore, young coach, 36 years old, whatever he is, and you dismiss the running backs coach who coaches one guy, all-time leading rusher, Michigan legend, like, that is, I mean, there's some alarming stuff that's gone on at Michigan, obviously, in the last 2 years. It's been as crazy as I've ever seen. But, like, to dismiss the all-time leading rusher, essentially, not retain him, is crazy. And again, the other layer of that is the fact that Jim Harbaugh did not offer him a job with the LA Chargers. So, I mean, if you're Mike Hart, he's probably trying to jump on that boat where it's like, you can avoid the sanctions, avoid the malfeasance that was going on at Michigan and like dive into the NFL like everybody else did. But they didn't do that. So, like, when Sharon Moore was retained as a head coach, got an extension, big $20 million extension, I assumed that, like, Mike Hart was kind of part of the deal. A guy that's been a legend, all-time leading rusher, Mr. Michigan. He's coached at Eastern Michigan, Indiana, and now he's at Michigan. It seemed like a lead pipe lock, but to let him go this late in the process where, a lot of the jobs have already been filled. Like, a lot of the jobs in the NFL and in college football, the major jobs, they've been filled already. Because, again, you're already into spring football. You've already gone through winter workouts. You've already been through the first week of spring football. Like, there's not many, like, primo running back jobs that are open right now. So it really screws the timing up with him and potentially getting a job that's of a similar caliber or better. Nevada, what are your thoughts on that? Because, again, I think that the timing is very curious because spring ball, obviously, Ohio State's through their first couple of days of spring. They got spring break coming up this next week. But I think that's as curious as anything because, again, if I'm going to fire somebody, like if I'm, for instance, in some hypothetical world, I'm a head coach, you're my offensive coordinator, I would rather fire you in December so you can go to the convention, look for a job in the NFL, look for a job in college football, go work for somebody that could hire you to be if not a coordinator, at least a high end position coach. Where with Sherrod Moore and Mike Hart, like, I mean, with the timing of this, I mean, there just aren't many jobs left, and I mean, he might be stuck being an analyst next year. But I'd love your thoughts on that because I think that that is something that, you know, again, there's a sympathetic way to fire somebody, which I think is before the convention. I think it's before the bowl game. I think it's December versus someone that, if you get fired in, March, I mean, the jobs are basically gone. But I'd love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, it all comes down to, was it him being fired by Sharon Moore, or was it Mike Hart deciding that, as the story's been unfolding? And look, I know a lot of people up in Michigan. You know a lot of people up in Michigan. I know a lot of people up in Michigan administration, and it's bad up there. It's bad, and they all know it's bad, and it's getting worse by the day. And they're all kind of battening down the hatches right now because they know the hurricane's coming. And if you're Mike Hart, do you really want to step into that? Do you want to stay in there and battle through that and you have to deal with that? So I'm not so sure it wasn't his decision to say, I want to get out of this before this Category 5 storm hits on the shore, because I'm telling you, a lot of people at Michigan know how bad it's going to be. And for people that, you live through some of the Tressel stuff and the transition and other thing. I mean, it's one thing you transition from Tressel, you sit through 1 year of Luke Fickell, and you've got Urban Meyer on the other side of the lake. You can go through a lot of bad weather to kind of get over there to the Urban Meyer days. What's Michigan's plan? I mean, Sharon Moore to what? And to pick who's going to take the job after the NCAA's picked over the carcass and done their thing, and the Michigan brand's been ruined. So I think these are really, really going to dark days heading for Michigan football. I think Mike Hart realizes that, and so I think the timing, it's not as coincidental. I think it was really him kind of coming to a realization that something, I got to get out of this before everything hits water, because everybody else is gone. I mean, literally, I think it's like 6 of the 10 or 7 of the 10 accountable coaches have flown the coop, plus the strength and conditioning coach. So crazy times. I'm sure he didn't want to be there and be part of it when it hits, because it's going to be bad for Michigan. It's going to be disruptive. It's going to be almost impossible for them to maintain any type of excellence there, given what they're going to be facing. And I just don't think he wants to go through it.
But Nevada, like, my big question is, what does it say about Mike Hart that Jim Harbaugh did not offer him the lifeboat? Because again, like, I feel like the Los Angeles Chargers are a lifeboat to, I don't know, 8 of the coaches that were there, the D line coach, obviously the strength coach, a lot of the guys that they took off. Like, what does it say to you about Mike Hart that he didn't offer him that? Because it seems like, if you're proficient and great, like, hey, here's a spot, you can come take the same spot, you can dodge come over here to the left coast where you can dodge the nuclear bomb that's coming. But what is it that Jim Harbaugh didn't offer Mike Hart a job with the LA Chargers?
Well, again, Mike Hart's kind of struggles have been kind of well documented. And maybe again, I'd be that is just speculation at that point. But clearly there was something that was lacking, that Harbaugh didn't feel compelled to make that move, didn't feel compelled to make that argument, to reach that hand out and pull him along with him. Was it weird? Yeah. I'm sure it was a little bit off-putting. I'm sure it was a little bit disturbing. But clearly there's a lot going on with Mike. Don't know what it is. Don't know how much of it's. I just don't know. I don't mind speculating. It's unfair to speculate. I don't mind speculating when I have some frame of reference. All I know is what happened. So what I know what happened is Harbaugh left, took a bunch of guys with him, didn't take Mike. And then now Mike is leaving Michigan at a really weird time to be leaving Michigan, along with everybody else of any consequence. They've all left, and the athletic director and the head basketball coach are going to be joining him shortly. So last one out of Michigan athletics, turn out the lights and start over, guys.
Yeah, it's really bad up there. We got some super chats. B Clay all day. Thanks for the deuce. AVS equals aviators. I love it. They're back. F Mish. I agree. I love my aviators. These are my favorite sunglasses of all time. So I rock them, especially when we're having a good time on a Friday. Appreciate you, brother. Tyler Courtesy, thanks for the 5. OH Nevada.
I-O.
Kirk question, who do you predict will be the next to leave from Ann Arbor? God, I wish I could have said Mike Hart because I'd have won that bet easily. I mean, I don't know how Colson Loveland stays. And maybe he's the most Michigan guy in the world. But, I mean, when you're in an offense in the spring that has 5 new starters on your line, new quarterback who's a runner, the orgy guy, I just don't know how you stay when you're the top tight end in the country. How do you stay when the quarterback probably won't get any protection and the quarterback's a running guy? But again, that's just me. And he's from the West, like he's from Montana or North Dakota or somewhere. He's not like some guy that grew up in Ann Arbor or East Lansing or Lapeer, Michigan or Detroit. He's from the West, so if he leaves, like it's not like he grew up rooting for Michigan. He picked it when it was fashionable. He wasn't a 5-star recruit. He was like a kind of a mediocre recruit, but he's a great tight end. So I'll say Colson Loveland. And again, I could get eaten alive for that, which is fine. But if I'm Colson Loveland's agent, I'm saying, look, Ohio State, if you look at their depth chart at tight end, it's a barren wasteland. And I'd be like, Colson, if you go there, you'll get $1 million. You're going to be the tight end for the best offense in the country. Chip Kelly will feed you the ball like Zach Ertz in 2014-ish. And you guys will feast. So, Nevada, who do you predict will be the next elite from Ann Arbor?
Ward Manuel, and Juwan Howard. They'll be the next two.
Cheater.
The chairman of the college football playoff committee is gonna. You better pack your stuff, Ward, and write that successor letter to that guy. Leave it at the top of the drawer.
Cheater.
But yeah, the knives are out for him. And wait till you guys read this expose on Michigan athletics. I mean, it is absolutely damning, and he's the ringleader. He's the guy. He's the guy in charge of all this stuff. He's in charge of all the cover-ups, of all the hush money, of all the payola, and it's not a good look. Not a good look. Going to be a bad day to be a Michigan fan.
Totally agree. Tyler Kernesty. Oh, next I'll go to Travis Hall. Thanks for the 5. Multiple compliments on the hat today. Appreciate you, brother. Nevada OH.
I-O.
So I've got your stuff down in the basement. I will get it tomorrow. But Travis Hall made us some very, very fancy, a very fancy barrel with our logo on it, and also a Florida State logo for my old lady, my wife. So, and he wants to do the Nevadabuck logo. But I appreciate you, Travis. I gave him one of our fancy new hats, and he loved it. So the hats are coming soon in a drop near you, probably next week. So appreciate you guys. Donald and Karen Russbeck, thank you for being a Scoop Ultra. Thank you for the 5. It is Friday. Michigan still sucks. Nevada OH.
I-O.
I love it. And yes, Michigan eternally sucks. So I appreciate you, Donald and Karen. See you guys on the board tonight. Coconut Dreams 123. Thank you for being a Scoop Ultra member as well. Thank you for the 5. Hey, Nevada. Can we bring back Howard Cosell for one last epic call? Down goes Michigan. Down goes Michigan. Nevada OH.
I-O.
Nevada, you were around for Howard Cosell. What was it like when he said down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier? Is it as epic as down goes Michigan, down goes Michigan?
Yeah, see, when I think of Cosell, I always think of Cosell in Monday Night Football. And to me, that was like the highlight of Monday Night Football when they had Danny Don Meredith and Gifford and Cosell, and Dandy Don because Dandy Don was kind of the original clown when he went out there. But with him, it was authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Collinsworth tries to do that country boy. Oh shucks, I can't believe this God in the holler and Jeepers golly gee. And, I mean, Danny Don was legit country. Chris Collinsworth is just, I'm not sure what that is. So yeah, I'm a big fan, Danny Don fan. Howard Cosell on Monday Night Football though was classic on so many different levels and so fun to watch. That was, man, I'm old enough to remember when they had Monday Night Football, and they actually had Monday Night Baseball too, because it was like baseball literally used to be, you get to see like a Saturday afternoon game, and then there'd be like Monday Night Baseball, and that was the only baseball I get to see. Now, like you see baseball, 75 games every day. it didn't used to be that way. It used to be a lot more fun. See the Houston Astros in those multicolored uniforms and things like that. Those were the good old days. But I'm a big fan of Cosell. I think TV needs personalities like that.
Yeah, I mean, I miss the days where it was like you got excited to watch like whatever team was on nationally. Again, when I was, and this is '97. This isn't 1,000 years ago, but like the Blackhawks played on Fox Sports in Naples one time in my lifetime, and I taped it on a VHS, and I probably watched it. They played the New York Rangers. They won 2-0. I probably watched that 1,000 times. Eric Daze, Amonte, Jeff Hackett had a shutout. So I mean, there's something that is missed by this generation with the instant access to information. Where like when I was a little kid, like I was a big San Antonio Spurs fan because I love David Robinson, I love Jeremy Roenick for the Blackhawks. When they played on the West Coast, and I used to read the newspaper, the Naples Daily News, like I didn't know if they won or lost for 2 days because like I didn't when it was a late game and they went to press, like there was no result. So I'd have to wait like 2 days to know if a team won or lost. And that sounds insane. But I have to thanks, baby. I love you. Kim, the goat, the queen. Come here, baby. All right, Kim is here. The old lady is here. I got my barrel head. Travis, you're the goat. So if you guys want a barrel head from Travis, I'll put this in the Twitter, or excuse me, the YouTube info. We got a Buckeye Scoop barrel head. So I don't know where these barrels come from. I don't know if they're tipping the tea off of it's like the Boston Tea Party or whatever. But a lot of barrels, a lot of barrel heads. But it looks really good on my wall. So I got that from Travis today. Appreciate you, brother. Nevada does not get one, but he did say, I want to make a Nevadabuck logo one. Would he like it? And I was like, probably, because he's Nevadabuck and he'd like a nice logo barrelhead. So Travis, appreciate you, brother, as always. Adam Dare, thanks for the 5. Would be really funny if Mike Hart was a whistleblower. Well, we thought about that. We kind of ran through that when we were talking in pre-show, but I mean, that's kind of career suicide if you're a coach to be a whistleblower. Nevada, I would love your input on this, but I can't see him blowing the whistle on his own alma mater unless he just hates him that much. But I can't see that. But I'd love your opinion on that.
No, but he's a survivor. I mean, he wants to go and save his own skin and get out. And he may not be a whistleblower, but he may be a cooperator, a guy that tells the truth, a truth teller. And remember, they already got one whistleblower there in Josh Gaddis, who is dropping dimes on Michigan and providing the receipts. So Michigan's got a lot to contend with right now because the enemies at Michigan are not just from outside. They're not just I was talking about the enemies at the gate, the barbarians that are trying to storm the walls, but the enemies are inside the walls right now, and there's so much political infighting going on right now to try to see who's going to be the one that's going to be able to get Ward Manuel's scalp, who's going to be able to kind of take control of the athletic director search, because they all want to pick the next athletic director and they all want to pick the next basketball coach. And look, before long, they know they're going to be looking for a new football coach. So everybody's kind of jockeying for position right now. It's definitely Game of Thrones going on at Michigan. But the existing regime is done. They will not survive this. And that officially starts next week. You guys will know when the flag goes up. You'll know. And when you read the article, just keep thinking, wow, a lot of this stuff seems like it's coming from inside Michigan, and you'd be right.
Yeah, and you'll be like, wow, Buckeye Scoop had it first. What else is new? William Jones, thanks for the 50. Appreciate you, man. Oh my God, it says, oops, here's the reward. What did you write earlier? I don't see another super chat. Well, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you for the 50. If you have a question in here, put it in the chat, and I'll have the Goon Squad, the Wrench Squad, send it to me. But I appreciate you, my man. My man, Show of Steel Workshop. Thanks for the deuce. $2 for the Wrench crew being on it tonight. They're good, man. I'm telling you. So, if you guys want to do me a big favor, a huge favor, get on Facebook right now and get into Shoaf, SHOAF, Steel, and then Workshop. I'm going to show it to you guys right now. So our boy is trying to get monetized so that he can start doing streams and talk about, hitting the crap out of steel to make swords and knives or whatever. So, how you can help us is go on your Facebook right now, type in Shove, SHOAF, apostrophe S, Steel Workshop, and click the follow button. It costs you $0, and you can help our boy out. So he is building us a knife. He's building Nevadabuck a Valyrian sword like he is Jaime Lannister, because Nevada said, he said, Kirk Hurriard, I said, I'm just a humble servant. And Nevada said, I'm Jaime Lannister, the richest Lannister in all the land. And so he's like, well, I will get you a Valyrian steel sword. And I was like, well, I just want like a little knife made out of like copper or whatever. And he's like, okay, that's fine for you. But Nevada wanted a big, monstrous, amazing sword. So Chef's going to bang on the steel to do that. But that being said, help our boy get monetized because he makes these swords online. He's a guy. He's a great dude. And again, I've never had anybody in the universe offer to build me a knife until I met this guy. So make sure you guys go to Shove, SHOAF, apostrophe S, Steel Workshop, and follow him. He has to get to 500 followers. He's at 477. So I appreciate you guys helping me out. Nevadabuck, what is the first thing that you're going to slice with your Valyrian steel sword?
Well, I'm hopefully, like I said, it's a hatchet like Gimli had from The Hobbit or something like that, so I can strap it on my back and carry it with me on the planes on TSA. I'm going to try to see if I can.
It gets through TSA.
I've seen the people that work at TSA. I think I can get it past them, so we're going to give that a try. But yeah, you're working on my land in Missouri and try to chop some of those trees down there in the back and try to clean that thing up there a little bit. So I'll use my Valyrian steel to do that. That'll be fun.
You'll hide it between one of your Del Tacos or your In-N-Out burgers when you come from the West Coast. That'll be perfect. They'll never suspect it ever.
No.
Karen Rossbeck, thanks for the 5. The management in Michigan knows they're going down hard, but the fans are delusional and still say that it's a nothing burger. Nevada OH. I mean, you have to understand, like, we're on this Michigan tip because, we get fed really, really, really accurate information about Michigan. So, Michigan and their beat writers and their narratives, they get blown to pieces by us because people that really know what's going on talk to us. So, again, we talk about this all the time. Like when me and Nevada are like, well, what should we talk about? It's like, well, this is the Michigan bomb shell that's coming. So let's talk about it. So we don't just like set out to say, hey, let's just hate on Michigan today. It's like, no, like this is what's really happening. And the next week is going to be terrible for Michigan. And like for Ryan Day and those coaches that are on vacation, about to be awesome. I mean, I told Ryan Day, like, look, order 10 more daiquiris, order like 2 pitchers of daiquiris when all this comes out because you'll be feeling good because they're about to get hammered. Juwan Howard, the hockey team, the women's hockey team, football team, it's all going to be exposed. It's going to be amazing. Nevada, the management at Michigan knows they're going to go down hard, but the fans are delusional and still say it's a nothing burger. Do you agree with that? Because I don't. Again, I know that there's people that are like, nothing will happen. They'll be all fine. I was like, dude, like, why do you think everybody's leaving? Why do you think Mike Hart, who's the leading rusher in the history of the school, is leaving his position as a running backs coach? Maybe voluntary, involuntarily, whatever. But something's about to go down.
Yeah, one correction. There is no women's hockey at Michigan, as crazy as that sounds, but it is other women's programs. Just a little slight correction in the interest of accuracy. But look, if you go back in the Wayback Machine and go back through the stuff that we've broken about Michigan and this scandal, and remember, every time I'm just going to give you a pile of highlights off the top of my head. The Weiss sex crimes against minors, the involvement of U.S. integrity, the fact that Harbaugh was not going to, that they were going to put up a public display and then not fight the TRO, that Harbaugh was not going to sign the extension, that Harbaugh was going to the Chargers, that Chris Partridge was going to be fired. I mean, just we go down the list of things. Every time we've said something like that, the Michigan fans, the Michigan insiders have taken the opposite view on it. So just go back and look and kind of go, well, okay, what's the next thing? We are telling you there's an expose coming out on Michigan athletics I'm saying next week it's going to start. Might be the week after, but I think it's going to be next week. That's going to blow the lid off Michigan. Now we'll see if that happens. If that doesn't happen, you can go, oh, Nevada, you just made it up. Oh, Nevada. But when it happens, just like all this other stuff we've been telling you about, I want you to go, okay, wow, those guys might really know what they're talking about. And what do you think? Like I said, we don't just sit here and kind of dream up, what can we say about Michigan? I wonder if the NCAA is going to hammer them. I wonder if there's going to be a big expose about them. I wonder if Ward Manuel is going to get fired. I mean, guys, we're not just throwing darts. We've got really good information on Michigan, and like I said, it starts next week, so keep an eye out because it's coming.
Again, like we're not like people that are like obsessed with Michigan. It's like no, but if we get like some massive story about Michigan, like we're gonna go with it. That's what we do. We're investigative reporters. And again, the Michigan stuff is hot, but it's not because we're searching for it. It's because it finds us from very good sources on that. Sean Garner, thank you for the 10 here in DC, going to Maryland tomorrow and Sunday to support our Buckeyes wrestlers at Big Ten tournament. Go Bucks! Thank you for keeping me informed and entertained. I think I hope our wrestlers do great. Again, I love Tom Ryan. I love everything that he does. I know he needs a lot of help with NIL. He's going to come on our podcast very quickly in probably the next 2 months. But I'll be at the Top Golf event on April 14th. So if you guys are around, come to that. Be a blast. Nevada, I know you're a big wrestling fan. How else can we support Buckeye wrestling? Because again, I think that's one of those things where we're going to become a big wrestling channel because nobody else does it, and they love Buckeye Scoop. Tom Ryan loves Buckeye Scoop. I gave him some gear. He's going to rock. He's going to come on our show. So, how should we support the program?
Well, look, I mean, one of the biggest ways is with NIL. I mean, the big difference between Penn State wrestling and Ohio State wrestling right now is Penn State is all in on support of the NIL program for Penn State, and they're able to get better wrestlers. And I think it'd be great if, I mean, frankly, you can make a bigger impact at wrestling than probably just about anywhere else in terms of what you're doing, in terms of directing those things. And I love the wrestling program. Big fan of Ohio State wrestling. Think them winning the national championship a few years ago was one of the great accomplishments, and would love to see them getting back up there and do it again. But and if you haven't been to a match at the Cavelli Center, do yourself a favor and go do that. You want to talk about a great night of entertainment? Go do that. I mean that's a rock concert and just so much fun, and no bad seats in the house. Relatively cheap entertainment. Go check out a wrestling match, and I guarantee you'll be hooked.
Yeah, I went with Johnny Buckeye, John Mormon, my scholarship donor, and it was unbelievably fun. So I was very grateful, and I met Brad Jennings. He's a great dude. So we're gonna do good. J Matt 217, thanks for the 5 of the show. As always, guys, HG's Harbaugh gets any punishment at all from the findings. Any of his coaches always be strapped. I love that. Nevada OH.
I
I don't think so. I think Harbaugh's going to skate on this unless he gets some sort of show cause where he can't come back to college football. The NFL, maybe if Roger Goodell wants to get him like smacked like he did Trussell, maybe. But it's kind of all on the table because this is so unprecedented where basically an entire coaching staff leaves and goes to the NFL. What is the particulars that happen? Nevada, your thoughts? Any chance Harbaugh gets any punishment from all the findings or any of his coaches? I'd love your thought on that.
Well, let me just tell you what I know, and then I'll tell you what I think. What I know is that they've connected Harbaugh, Minter, and Moore to the scandal, and now what I believe from that is that they'll all receive show causes. Now, you ask yourself, what does that mean to Harbaugh, who's now a skin Minter, who's escaped to the NFL with the show causes? I believe that Goodell will levy some sort of punishment at them, whether it be monetary, whether it be a draft pick. He'll do something because the stain of this scandal, this is the worst on field cheating scandal in the history of college football. And the guy that did it is basically escaped. It's like the guy running out of town with a posse on his tail and hightails it to the NFL. I believe Goodell will want to make some sort of statement and give something to him. Will it be enough? No, but it'll be something that he does it. But I think Sharon Moore is going to be implicated in this as well. I think Sharon Moore is going to receive a show cause as for his part in the scandal, and that will put Michigan in an interesting situation because, like I said, with Minter and Harbaugh, those guys are gone, but he's still there. So that does, present quite the dilemma. But that's what I believe will happen.
I agree. I think it's going to be very, very interesting going forward. Paul Lewis, thanks for the hundo. Appreciate you, brother. I hope you're having a great Friday. Thank you for your generosity towards Pay It Forward. Hi, guys. Back. Oh, my gosh. I don't know if this is from Hawaii. That is very, very depressing because Hawaii is gorgeous this time of the year. Hope you had a great time. Kirk, how about a meetup at Wrigley? Ooh, boy. Nevada, Wrigley Field is gorgeous, especially in the summer. It's probably about as good as it gets. We'll love your thoughts on a meetup at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, look, I love going to baseball games, and I love everything about Wrigley and attending baseball. I find baseball on television like insanely boring. Like I cannot remember the last time that I've watched a full baseball game from beginning to end. And I'm serious. Like it might have been. I don't. Yeah, maybe when the Indians were playing the Marlins in the World Series. That's how long it's been. But a game at Wrigley where you can get a hot dog and some beers and just sit there and just BS. Yeah, I'm in anytime. I love everything about going to baseball because you can visit and not miss anything. It's not like when we go to a football. You and I have attended football games together.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't talking a lot. There's a lot of staring and gripping and a lot of hot cocoa being consumed. But no, there's not a lot of talking. But baseball, we can catch up, find the whole thing. I don't mind wandering around the stadium and doing it. But yeah, Wrigley Field is. I'm in. Let's go.
So I got two Wrigley stories. So when I went to the Big Ten Media Days before my senior year, I was the captain. Tressel took me, Marcus Freeman, Vernon Golson. I had my ex-wife, her roommate, actually had her dad was a big attorney in Chicago, and I talked to him when I was in town. I was like, "Hey, what are you up to tonight?" Like, well, I could get tickets to the Cub game, go to Gibson's, and I was like, "Well, and I was with Marcus and Vernon, and they're like, "Kirk, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't know yet," and then I slipped away. And I went with my attorney friend to give. We went to the Cubs game. It was like disco night, not disco demolition night, like disco night. So all the girls that were as hot as you could imagine were dressed in like bell bottoms and disco stuff, and I mean it was fantastic. And then we go into Gibson's afterwards, and again, I was a senior in college. I'd never heard of Gibson's. Didn't know what Gibson was. Gibson's an institution in Chicago. It was amazing. So, Vernon and Mark six here like, "Where'd you go?" And I was like, "Oh, nowhere. Just went to bed, slept." But I went to like the best places in the world, and like I saw more hot girls at that Cubs game than I've ever seen in my life. So then I happened to get drafted by the Chicago Bears the next year. So I go to get drafted by the Chicago Bears, and when you're a rookie, the Bears do a great job of exposing you to the city. They take you to like a Cubs game, a White Sox game, whatever. So we decided to go to. We have a Cubs game. It's a Saturday. We can watch batting practice, whatever. So I remember I was with a guy named Isaiah Harris, who's our director of player development. Young guy, very nice guy. Matt Forte was in my class. Who a lot of you guys know from fantasy football. Chris Williams, first round pick. And like we get down, it's like a noon first pitch. We get down there at like 9:30 in the morning, and I'm like, "What on earth are we gonna do for 2.5 hours?" And Isaiah's like, "Well, we're gonna go watch batting practice," and I'm like, "Well, I don't want to watch batting practice." And again, I'm a 22-year-old guy in Wrigleyville, and I was like, "Well, I want to go to Harry Carey's and the Cubby Bear and all these other places." So like, I go into Harry Carey's, man, and I see the hottest woman I've ever seen in my life. This hot chick is a bartender there, and I'm sitting there, and like I get like some food, a couple beverages. And like it gets to be like almost like the first pitch, and I'm like, I don't really want to go to the game. So like I end up like sitting there until like the sixth inning. I finally go into the game, but I was like, and I'm with all these guys that are all clustered up in these like crappy seats, and I'm like, You guys are idiots. Because, like, if you're a young kid, 24, 25, 26, and you're in, like, Chicago around the Cubs Stadium, and you actually go to the game, you're a total idiot. Because I'm telling you, like, around the Cubby Bear and Harry Carey's, it was insane. The young professionals, the pretty girls there was nuts. So, again, I love a Cubs meetup because it is a very, very fertile ground, especially for young people. If we have young people that are part of the scoop, my God, it is amazing. Nevada, this is a really good question. Appreciate you, Paul. Pedro's Luciero. 100-yard dash, Nevada. Who wins? Braxton Miller, Justin Fields, or Terrell Pryor? No, I'm picking.
I'm betting on Terrell Pryor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again,
I don't think.
Go ahead.
I don't think people realize how freaky of an athlete Terrell was. I mean, he operated in the most antiquated offense that there ever was, and just did more things by himself with just jaw-dropping talent. I mean, a guy that can play starting quarterback in the NFL as well as be a 1,000-yard receiver. I mean, it's just such rare air, and it's really a shame we didn't get to see more of him. And it's really a shame that he has any type of restrictions about his involvement with Ohio State. I think that is that's a crime, because he could have brought the program down, and he did. Man, he took the bullet and kept his mouth shut. And God bless you, Terrell.
Well, and like the hard part for me is like, how much money did Terrell make for the program? Oh wait, beats Michigan. They lose to Penn State. They have a couple. They lose that USC game, Penn State. Excuse me. 09. 09, they beat Oregon in the Rose Bowl. 10, they won the Arkansas game with all because of Terrell. Terrell's the only reason they won either of those games. So, for him to be banned, it's sad. People have done much worse, but he's the guy that was the biggest gamer I've ever been around. And I love Troy Smith to death. I love all these guys to death, but like with Terrell, I mean, Terrell was a lot like Troy, but he was bigger and a better athlete. Now, he wasn't as accurate as Troy. He probably wasn't as big of a dog as Troy, but he's close. Troy's like, the King Alpha, pit bull. But Terrell was a different animal. And again, I worked with Terrell in 10. And I mean, when he was on that field, I wasn't worried about anything. Because every time he stepped on that field, I was like, we got the best player in the country on our team. And he played like it. And he was a monster. So I'm taking Terrell all day, every day. That's a great question, though. Eric Peterson, thanks for the 20 from the Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW Post 5246, Caroline County, Maryland's Eastern Shore. Tried to send a video of the bar and live band of watching the show, but it wouldn't download in the feed. Appreciate y'all and the info. You can send it to my email, barton145@gmail.com. I'll try to get that on here, put it on my iPad and show it in the background. But Eric, I appreciate you, my man. Again, you guys are heroes. And again, we signed up a couple more heroes today. I met some people at Zach Smith's podcast today, and I'm going to sign them up today. Some very, very patriotic people. So I'm excited about that. But Eric, send that to my email, and I'll get that on the show. Appreciate you. Paul Lewis, thank you for the 20. What has Deese been saying? Go. I've been out the USA. I think that this is regarding Dusty May as our next head coach, which I think Dusty May is going to get released from his FAU contract. So this will be very interesting if it's him or Sean Miller. I would still bet on Sean Miller, but I'm not sure. Nevada, your thoughts. What has Deese been saying? Go. I've been out of the USA.
Are we sure that is what the question is right there? Because Deese, when I think Deese, I think Steve Deese, that Michigan podcaster / thing, but maybe I'm thinking of something.
You're probably. I was thinking Deese was one of the best ones there. So go ahead.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. So I'll I don't know what Deese is saying. As for basketball, I mean, we've been hearing Sean Miller for the longest time, but then Dusty May. There's other people that are saying Dusty May. I'd heard that Sean Miller was really a tough putt, and really the helping technician had said very unlikely. Apparently LeBron has been pushing for him and offering to fund NIL. As you know, NIL funding goes a long way in terms of making decisions like this, especially for a basketball team that doesn't have a lot of NIL funding. So, if, for LeBron, just the lint in his pocket, he could pretty much donate to Ohio State, and for him, it'd be quite a coup if he could get his guy there as the coach. And apparently, he's offered to bring the next kid with him as well. So we'd have an Ohio State, LeBron James kid there and money into the NIL program. Maybe that's a good trade-off, or maybe that's giving him too much control of the program. Not sure, but that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will. And again, I think it's Dusty Bear, Sean Miller. So it depends on what LeBron wants to do. McLaren 123 1000. Thank you for being a Scoop Ultra. Thank you for the 20. Hey, Kirk in Nevada, love the show. With players such as Caleb Downs likely being NFL ready after year 2, do you think the NCAA/NFL will ever reduce the 3 years removed from high school draft roll? I don't think so. Again, I've been in the NFL. I mean, I was a 5-year guy. I took a red shirt and played for 4 years at Ohio State. Started for 4 years at Ohio State. I think that you need at least 3 years to get out of high school before you can play in the league. The league is exceptionally difficult, and I just think that because you'll have people say, "Oh, well, Jeremiah Smith could make an NFL team," and whatever. I just think that the maturity that you need, the physical nature of the beast is much different than basketball, because just the amount of contact involved and the amount of the duration of the season is very tough. So I don't think they'll ever remove it. Again, I think that you're kind of alluding to the fact that Caleb Downs could potentially have an All-American year as a true sophomore and then be ready to go to the league. I don't think that's the case, but again, could be wrong. Nevada, do you think there's any chance that the NFL could remove the 3-year rule for the NFL draft? Because I can't see that.
Yeah, I mean, is there a chance? Sure, there's a chance, but it's they don't have an appetite for it, and you're legally protected because it's a condition of employment that's being negotiated in good faith between an employer and a union. So it's not, you don't get into antitrust, you don't get any I have a right to do it or anything else like that. It's just a rule. And remember, when you let in younger guys, that would force older guys out of the NFL. They don't really want to do that, and there just really hasn't been an appetite. This thing, had some traction in the NBA, and they will do it. But college football has been really, really, really good to the NFL, and they're both really healthy right now. And the worst thing they could do is upset the apple cart and turn a good thing into a bad thing. And nobody in college football, or nobody in the NFL really wants to do that. So I would say the chances of it happening were extremely remote. And I haven't heard anything that this is even percolating at any level in the discussions.
Yeah, and I don't think they want a bunch of young kids jumping in and teams taking off potential, because a lot of teams, they draft off potential. And it's like you get a kid that's a freshman who's imagine if CJ Hicks could declare after 1 year or 2 years and he's a 5-star, he might test out of the world at the combine, run a 4.4, but he hasn't played yet. So I mean, I just think it opens up a can of worms that the NFL is not trying to deal with. They want to be more sure about who they are picking up and rolling with. So, Bullet Train, thank you for being a Scoop Ultra member. Thank you for the 20. The boosters tell you to hire one senior advisory analyst. There just happens to be the best blocking coach for your offense, the best tackling coach for your defense, or a special teams savant. Who do you pick? Give me the best blocker every single time. Nevada, if the boosters tell you to hire a senior advisory analyst, there just happens to be the best blocking coach for your offense, the best tackle coach for your defense, or a special teams savant. Who do you pick? I'm picking the blocker every time. Your thoughts, Nevada?
Well, when you say best blocking coach, basically what you're saying is Kirk Barton. I mean, you're basically saying if the boosters get you enough money to hire Kirk Barton, would you do that? And my answer is yes. I think Kirk Barton would immediately return a little bit of nasty. I think our combination blocks would get a heck of a lot better almost instantly, and I think players would get markedly better. So, Kirk Barton for blocking coach analyst at Ohio State. I'm willing to put that down. We'll get by that www.BurtCarton for blocking analyst.
Did you buy that on GoDaddy already? Did you already buy Burke Carton for blocking?
I
Good.
I did that right now.
So, because the thing about you is like you've got enough like wealth that you could do Burke Carton for blocking, Kirk Barton for blocking, Burke Carton for. I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm saying like I would agree because I think that the blocking is important, but I think recruiting offensive linemen is very important. So if you have some sort of guy who's a savant, because again, if you have some blocking guru, then Justin Fry or me can go recruit 5-star offensive linemen. We actually get some of them, like the way Stud used to. Like Stud used to get guys from Texas, like Donnie Jackson or Nick Petitfrere from Tampa, 5-star guys from all over the place. And we don't do that anymore in Nevada. So I totally agree with you. Well, I know you are on a time crunch, so we're going to wrap this thing up a little bit early. Nevada, your thoughts on the week? Again, it's spring break now for the Bucks, but your thoughts after week 1 of spring ball?
I mean, really, like I said, I'm just struck with. I guess my two things that I'm kind of taking away from spring ball the first couple of days is just the jaw dropping athleticism of this 2024 unit and the strength of this coaching staff and the fact that we've got a rejuvenated kind of like Chip Kelly's like a little kid right now, and I think that's going to be bad news for everybody who's playing against the Buckeyes this year because um, he is really he's really having a good time. He's really kind of found his passion again for coaching and doing exactly what he wants to do. So I think those are my two takeaways. This is going to be a very, very special year. And look, recruiting's cooking up too. You've got some great recruiters. We got some kids coming. We got some big commits coming. And the Buckeyes actually had a big commit this week. So stuff happening all over the program, good things, and the future's certainly bright. And our rival is circling the drain. So it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be an absolutely great weekend. Appreciate you guys kicking with us. Happy Friday. I hope you guys have a great Friday. Thank you for a fantastic show tonight. Again, as always, if you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Again, we are having a very strong month, so we appreciate all of your support as always. So thank you so much. Again, spread this to your friends as we got a new super chat as we were. Karis, my dog, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the 5. Don't have a lot, but just wanted to donate to pay it forward, show the love. Can't wait for the get together. Our get together is going to be amazing. Andy Jo Taylor will sing the national anthem and a couple of her songs. She is very talented. The Taylor family will be there. My wife will be there. It'll be a whole Scoop family fest. Akeem, the whole crew, the Wrench crew will be here. So it'll be awesome when we all get together. So I appreciate you guys very much. Nevada is on a little bit of a time crunch. I was on a little bit of a time crunch today, so it's a shorter episode. But we appreciate you guys. We'll be back with the full smorgasbord tomorrow. But again, we appreciate you guys so very much for all you guys do. Again, if you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe. Also, click that little alert bell. Again, you guys are the absolute best. We appreciate you guys so much for all you guys do for this channel. Spread the good word. Shout out where you guys are watching from. Shout out who you guys are watching with. Shout out, again, my Southern Ohio boys are carrying the show. Portsmouth, huge. Gallipolis, huge. South Point, Chesapeake. Thank you, all my Southern Ohio people that are in here. Canton, Akron, Lewis Center, New Albany, Columbus, Cleveland, Toledo. Shout out Toledo. That's where the Taylor family is from. Appreciate you guys, as always, for taking care of us and giving us those likes, those great comments. Again, it's all huge to us. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Buckeye Nation, and thank you, Scoop family. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great night. Have a fun Friday. Go Bucks.